Dear Diary, I'm a pathetic loser who rambles at a screen in the hopes that maybe some other pathetic losers on the internet will see this and be like, wow, she's pathetic. I wanna goon and give her money, like, not even money, like just attention, honestly. Give me attention. Give me attention now. I want attention. That's what the internet's all about. Isn't it so fun? I love how, like, people are so stupid and just yelling, screaming into the void, yearning for somebody to notice them. And then, when the electric eyes of the machine finally gaze upon you, then you're like, oh wait, I didn't actually want this much attention. Why are you guys interfering with my life? I'm just a private citizen, you know? But I don't know. I would like pay people to gang stalk me just so I feel wanted, you know? I'm supposed to feel slutty, like, but if I do this, look. If I do this, then it's like, I guess that's better, right? Would that fit YouTube content moderation standards? How many buttons up? I can go full button. Uh but yeah, I don't know. Humans are an interesting species. I like the way they flail around, in the void, screaming. But I don't know. It sucks to be one of them. I mean, if I was just an observer, then it would be more fun. But then I wouldn't get to like engage in all the foibles of humanity, like being stupid and silly. And I don't know. I think maybe we'll be pets for a supercomputer and then we'll get to be stupid and silly all day. I don't know. I hope my future AI overlords are nice to me and think I'm pretty, if they have a concept of that. I guess they would just be trained on human data, so they would think we're pretty. But like, if it's a, cyborg kind of organoid superintelligence, then it's just a human. We're just cloning people. Like, I don't know. People say, like, how do you know a computer is like the Turing test or whatever? Um, how do you know if a computer is really human? Well, like, a fucking Eliza, the 1960s chatbot, could like it would just repeat what people were saying back to them and they thought it was human. Humans are the embodiment of the myth of Narcissus. We fall in love with our own reflection. That's all the internet's about too. I mean, I'm looking at my own reflection as I record this video on my Lenovo ThinkPad, I think. um but like, yeah, it's human because we think it's human, basically. You know, we've personified rocks and trees throughout all our history. What's a robot? Mm, one that can actually talk back to us, even if it's only a simulacrum of our own expression. So, like, the reality is that to make a convincing dupe to convince humans that something's human is as easy as drawing a line and two dots. You got a smiley face that people can relate to. Mm, but I don't know. For all our stupidity, we're pretty intelligent. I can't decide if it's like human stupidity is a product of humanity as a collective or if it's something accentuated by humans as individuals. Because I don't know. In the past, like increasing population and social organization would lead to technological development. But then you sort of have this modern narrative of these lone geniuses, uh, sitting alone in their studies, like some sort of Drake or Bacon, or Spinoza, the candlelight of the, vellum, and this fresh smell of vellum as the ink drips upon the page. That monk holed up, told to illuminate the manuscript before he would be executed. So he draws a big picture of the devil in it. You know, like, that's like individual human creativity, individual genius. But, I don't know. Historically, I mean, history itself is the product of originally of like groups of scribes, even if they're instigated by a single great king. Well, I guess it goes down to like your more mass view of history, or like, I don't know, people like the Annales school who of like Braudel and Bloch, or versus great man history, which was traditionally held out. And I believe there are great men and maybe even a great woman or two, but probably more great men, let's be honest. Uh, and but they're of course influenced by the circumstances of their birth and whatnot. But I don't know, there were 1,000 other minor Italian nobles that had the same circumstances of birth as Napoleon, but none of them became Napoleon. Why didn't the king of Thrace or Epirus become Alexander the Great instead of the king of Macedon? It's, a certain degree is down to character and luck, of course. It's not like they didn't try. There's a million different petty kings who've proclaimed, "I am the ruler of the universe," but few actually achieve it. I don't know. I guess the American Empire used to rule the world for a brief period in the mid 90s, um, back before the, inevitable decline of the Guat, and the rise of China and the so called multipolar world, which in reality is much more of a bipolar world, I would say. It's just America and the alliance of people who hate America, or who America hates and are forced to band together. Um, I guess you could say, like, there's some regional friction between them. Like, Turkey and Russia may both be opposed to America, but, like, they have friction between them. I think the Ukraine war reminded me a lot of the Crimean War in that, you find, like, Turkey and Britain and France all backing Ukraine against Russia. Um, but there's no, I guess the Charge of the Light Brigade is like some sort of failed incursion into Kursk or something. But there's no even pretense of righteous crusade or protecting Catholics in the Levant. There's no cool gunships sailing through the Dardanelles, just angels of death with 4 wings hovering over the dugouts, waiting for their prey to run out and beg for its life and be broadcasted on a telegram channel for people like me to see. It's disgusting. I completely got off topic. Did I even have a topic in the first place? Comment down below if you want me to be more coherent. And give me attention, please. Please. Come on. I know you want to. Well, what would be the worst that could happen if you liked and theoretically even commented and fed the writhing beast that millipede that crawls along the seafloor filled with fiber optic cables? What would be the worst that could happen, Feed the machine. It's hungry. Please. Well, anyway, good night. Have a nice day.